Hello there, I'm Steve Arcade, and I'd like to welcome you to another episode of How It Started, How Gamers Became Gamers. This podcast is all about taking a trip down memory lane with everyday gamers, learning the who, what, when, where, and how behind their love for gaming. Along the way, we'll discuss different gaming-related topics and thoughts on all things gaming. Today, we're thrilled to welcome from Twitch, Birdbrain, aka Richard. We're going to talk Atari, Sega Genesis, why Borderlands 2 was his first love in gaming, Black Ops Cold War, and the controversy around skill-based matchmaking, why Warzone just isn't his thing, his gaming group, Osiris Gaming, why he was disappointed with the development of Rogue Company, why he loves horror games, the Callisto Protocol as a spiritual successor to Dead Space, the 4v1 game meta, and a metric you-know-what ton more. We hope you enjoy the show. Okay, welcome to another episode of How It Started, How Gamers Became Gamers. I've got Ben over here with me, and today we've got Richard, otherwise known as Birdbrain from Twitch. Richard, thanks for joining us today, pal.
Yo.
Yeah, thanks again for coming on the show. So gamers don't really get older, they level up. So what level are you?
I am currently level 40, my friend.
Hey, I just turned 41, dude.
Nice.
Yeah, all right. Awesome to
Boomers
have
unite, man.
Oh man, dude, we get so many young bucks on this show, and I'm just like, dude. Okay, so let's get right into the meat and potatoes of it. This should be interesting. How did you get started into gaming?
Oh man, my introduction into gaming was a long time ago, man. My uncle had an Atari back in the day. You know, the old Atari console with
I know.
with broken ass ET and all that.
Yes.
And so so I would go over to my uncle's house and I would play Pitfall.
Oh yes.
And, oh my God. And I was just hooked. Like I could not get over to my uncle's house enough. And then in I want to say 88, my dad actually brought home the family's first Nintendo Entertainment System, and that was when I first actually started owning video games to where I could just actually put time into them and start to get good at them and whatnot.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, that was about when I was 8 years old, man. We finally got a home console. My dad was actually pretty cool. He was always into the technical gadgets and stuff. Like we were early adopters of PCs and stuff like that. It was really cool growing up in that household, actually.
So what would you say are some of your favorite games that you played on those first two systems? You mentioned Pitfall.
Right. I mean, I never actually owned an Atari, so it was just like, what my uncle had,
Sure.
when I was over there or whatnot. But when we got our Nintendo, oh my goodness, I was immediately hooked on like Zelda and Zelda 2 and I mean, of course, Super Mario Brothers. I mean, who didn't play Super Mario Brothers?
Right. We all did.
It's me, Mario.
Oh man, good stuff. Good stuff. I couldn't even get close to beating Super Mario Brothers back then. I was actually a very casual gamer at first. I was never like, oh, this is what I want to do, but yeah, that came later. But yeah, the original Nintendo, and then I eventually got a Sega Genesis as well when those came out, and I was pretty hype about that. Altered Beast and Sonic the Hedgehog. Oh my goodness, man. Taking it way back.
So what would you say is the game that, like, what we call your first love in gaming? Like the game that really just like you just took hold and you were like, wow, gaming is just, this is freaking sweet, dude.
Oh man. I mean, when I really started like actually putting time into gaming was when I first got into Borderlands 2.
Okay.
Oh, there
that,
you go.
that was when I started like actually like like looking up the right ways to do things and the proper ways to make builds and grinding and all of that. That was probably the first game I got deep into. Yeah, that was the first time I had gotten like deep into gaming because, like I said before that, I was I was fairly casual.
It was where you took the dive.
Yeah, that's when I started to like no life games. Was with Borderlands.
What was it about Borderlands 2 that was different for you, that really kind of that pulled you in, that drawed you in?
Well, I mean, honestly, more than even the game itself, it was more I was at a time in my life where things were starting to calm down from my teenage years and whatnot in my early 20s. And I was just starting to, life was starting to chill out a little bit. I had time to do it. And, just the looter shooter genre just kind of like took hold of me. I moved from
Oh yeah, it's an excellent
Borderlands
game.
2. Yeah, I moved from that into Destiny, and that was actually the first time I ever even played like an online shooter, so to speak, was the original Destiny when I got into that.
Hmm.
I had never played like PvP shooters or anything before that, and so that was actually my first experience with that. It was pretty cool.
Okay. Okay. How did you feel about Destiny?
When it was Destiny 1 and it was all a new experience to me, I was absolutely in love with it. I no-lifed that game so hard, three difficult raids a week, you
Okay.
got to get all your characters through hours and hours and hours in the Crucible, Trials of Osiris on weekends and whatnot, which I was terrible at back then because I just hadn't gotten good at shooters yet, really. But man, I know life that game. I put so much time in that game.
So were you playing that on console or well, you had to be, right? Because it was only console.
Right.
Right.
Yeah, I had a PS3 originally and then upgraded to a PS4 halfway through Destiny 1. And then when Destiny 2 came out, just switched right over into it. Eventually got sick of it because, we all know that story, but yeah. The game will eat your life if you let it.
A lot of games will.
Yeah,
It's true.
for sure. So, what kind of games have you been playing lately?
Lately it's basically been, PvP focused games. I've been playing a lot of Call of Duty Black Ops, the
Okay.
new one, even though the
Yep.
COD community seems to dislike it. I don't know. It's my first real COD that I've ever really sat down and played. So I've been,
So you didn't actually play any of the other titles before this one?
No, like back in the day on PS3, I had the original Black Ops, and I played the campaign and I played zombies. But like I was saying earlier, I wasn't really into PvP shooters yet.
Gotcha. Okay. Not
No, are you
Yeah,
playing on PC or are you playing on console?
on PC now for sure. I made the switch to PC probably 5 years ago.
So the call, this is news to me, and admittedly, I go out of my way not to pay attention to communities behind games for the most part because they're usually more toxic than I can handle, and I like
Truth.
my empathic being is just like stokes in the toxicity, and then I'm like, so I just try to avoid it.
Right,
With that in mind, tell me, why is the community not happy with Black Ops?
Oh,
I
it's
like it.
mostly the skill-based matchmaking or
Okay,
engagement-based matchmaking. They've ramped it up to a higher level than it's ever been before with this title, I guess, which, to me, I don't care because this is my first experience with COD. So to me, this is what COD is.
right.
You know what I mean? But that's mostly their complaint with it. And a lot of people complain about the graphics of it and whatnot, which is, meaningless to me. I don't care how good a game's graphics are as long as it plays well. But that's kind of the big things they complain about. Mostly the skill-based matchmaking.
This tree doesn't look right.
Right? Yeah.
I will say that I have noticed like Ben has a higher KD than I do in the game. Not for
Okay.
long though. But when I
Wow.
play by myself and IQ for matches solo, I mean, you've seen the scoreboards that I've posted on Twitter, and I'm not trying to brag,
Right.
but I am pretty dominant a lot of the time.
Right.
I'm an old engine. It takes me about a half hour to get up and get going, but man, once that engine's purring, baby, watch out.
That's right.
But with that said, when Ben and I match up, we go together.
As soon as we team up.
Half the time, we're both just getting fucking destroyed. It's like it decides like our powers combined, we are the Wonder Twins, and they need to activate every massive good player on top of us. And we're sitting there just getting destroyed, screaming at the game, having no fun. It's weird.
Oh yeah. Well, it's a weird loop that they put you through because they don't want you to just. That's the thing about it. It's almost like going to a casino. They don't want you to win all the time. They want you to have like a healthy mixture of highs and lows in your state of mind during play, because that's how they keep you engaged for longer. Like they've done studies on this garbage, man, where they just, a specific combination of losing and winning for each individual, and they track like your breaking point, like how many losses in a row will actually make you rage quit. You know what I mean? Like they track that stuff, man, and they tailor it to give you just enough to keep you coming back for more. It's really diabolical the way they do it, but
I was gonna say it's been my experience, at least lately, that like I'll join in, I'll have a great match, I get like a whole buttload of kills, I completely dominated everything, and then the immediate next match, I can't get a single kill off. I'm like, I didn't
It's
just
almost
suddenly
like it's
stop being
deciding-
good.
It's almost like it's deciding, hey, he's actually good. Let's put him in the god tier. And
Right, right.
And then you just get fucking obliterated, and it's like, okay, well, he's not that good. Let's put him back down here.
Yeah,
It's like,
they don't want
I
you.
need
They
the
don't,
happy medium, you know, where
exactly.
it's
Yeah,
challenging, but it's not.
yeah. They don't want you to get bored in that winning every time range. You know what I mean? They got to slow you down so you want to fight for it.
I
mean,
never get bored
I
dominating.
like a challenge. I'm not opposed to the challenge. It's just the extreme of going to this is too easy to I can't even like look without dying.
Yeah, I spawned, I'm dead. I spawned, I'm dead. I spawned,
Yeah.
I'm dead. I mean, and I get that on the shipment map in Modern Warfare, but
Right, yeah, but
that
like,
brings up next question. Do you play Warzone?
I've dabbled in Warzone, and my gaming org would love if I were to play more Warzone, because Warzone is obviously it's more popular than Cold War, more viable as a content creation platform and whatnot. But
not to mention it's free to play.
Yeah, free to play helps a lot too. I've just never enjoyed the BR format. You know what I mean? Like I've played all the BRs and I do all right at them. You know, I still dabble in Apex a little bit, and you know, but I don't know, something about the BR format just it doesn't hold my attention. It's too much in between time, in between the fights. You know what I mean? There's too much downtime. It's too campy. It's too, I don't know. It's too tactical for me. I'm a battering ram, man. I want to run in there and just shoot in all directions like an
Just
action.
give me a gun and run around Unreal Tournament style.
You should team
There
up
you
with us
go.
sometime. You really should, because we like to play aggressive matches. We just go for the blood. Like, we specifically seek out people to kill them along the way.
Yeah.
We're not camping anywhere.
We
not
go
sitting
hunting.
in any one place.
Okay,
We
see,
get
there you
geared
go.
up, and then we go looking for trouble.
Right,
We go looking for
okay.
trouble. That's what we do. That's like how we like to play it. I just prefer to play aggressively, because like you, if I get too much into the loot mode, then I forget about the shoot mode, and then I get jumped, and I'm like, what do I do? You know, just like I completely, my
Right.
brain shuts off. I have a stroke, and it's over.
Right.
And I'm dead. So yeah,
That's
man,
fine.
you should. So you mentioned your gaming org. That's Osiris Gaming? Yeah.
Yes, sir.
Tell
Yes,
us about that.
Well, it's you know, it's a small team of content creators and some competitive players, and you know, they just they promote us. They give us ideas for content we should be making, and you know, just basically we all help each other out a little bit. It's a good little work.
So is it like a collective of like streamers, or is there like one specific person that's like in charge, or?
Oh yeah, no, it's like a legit org. They've like actually like filed for their incorporation paperwork and whatnot, and we definitely have a boss. We definitely have a boss, but it's not like super like, you know, structured or like militarized or anything like that. It's pretty chill. It's
Working together, and the whole what is it, rising tide lifts all boats type thing. That's there's nothing wrong with that. That's a very cool
there
thing.
you go, man.
How many streamers do you guys have?
Oh man, we're getting up into somewhere in the 20s, I believe.
Okay.
I haven't really been keeping super close track of it with the move and all that, but they're always recruiting. I think they just opened recruiting up again.
I think I saw that. Yeah. I think I saw that on your Twitter feed. Are they all Twitch streamers, or we got some Facebook streamers and YouTube streamers in there? Or
Yeah, I think we've got a mix. I think we've got a couple of YouTube streamers and maybe a Facebook streamer. I'm not sure on that last one, but yeah, we've got a good mix. But for the most part, Twitch streamers, absolutely.
Okay. Tell me about your streaming. How long have you been streaming?
Oh boy, I've been streaming for moving in on 3 years now, I think. Yeah, I started a few years ago.
What got you started?
Honestly, I came in on the wave of people who had no idea what Twitch was before Ninja and Fortnite blew up.
Sure.
You know, when that just
Right.
got huge, and you know, everybody in the world stood up and took notice of it, I was, one of those people. I was like, well, what is this Twitch thing? I'm like, so I started.
What is the Twitches?
Yeah, well, what is this thing? So I started checking it out, right? And
What is this sorcery?
yeah, I started having a look, and
I shall
at that
dabble in
point,
the Twitch.
and at that point, I didn't really, I didn't really have any big plans of like, streaming for a living or anything like that, but I had this great love of FromSoft games. I liked my Dark Souls, so
Oh,
I
yeah,
started.
okay.
Yeah, so I started looking around for some Dark Souls streamers because before that, all I knew was, Twitch is Fortnite, is blah blah blah. It's a bunch of people building walls and doing that whole thing. But so I started poking around. Yeah, I started poking around, realized, hell, every game in the world, there's somebody that's playing it live. That's kind of fucking cool. Or sorry, excuse my.
No, you're okay. You're totally fine. This is an explicit podcast, sir.
Awesome. Okay. But yeah, no, I started coming across some Souls streamers. I was watching Jesus Here's Toast playing Bloodborne, and then I stumbled across the Happy Hob. I don't know if you guys have seen the Happy Hob playing Dark Souls. Oh my God, that guy cracks me up. But he's a British no-hit runner, and he's just
okay.
And that's neither here nor there. But anyway, I was watching him a lot, and I was like, I got a lot of downtime. I should probably try this out. So I started looking into what it would take to start streaming. And, of course, I started streaming with Dark Souls and Bloodborne and whatnot, because that's what I was playing at the time.
Right.
And then, yeah, I just, I started really enjoying it. I started to actually get some viewers, started to learn how to play around with like sound effects and video cues and all that stuff. Started to get deeper into it, learned to green screen, that whole thing. Yeah. And so like the whole technical aspect of it really appealed to me because I was always, I like to tinker, I like to mess with electronics and set things up and do that whole thing. And yeah, and it just, it's gone as it's gone. I eventually switched over to shooters because I got bored playing Dark Souls all the time.
Yeah.
Rogue Company happened, which was actually really big for my channel. I don't play Rogue anymore, but it did a lot for me when it was first coming out. And then yeah, I got tired of streaming Rogue, and I've been streaming Call of Duty ever since. And streaming is good to me. I enjoy it.
Nice.
So what would you say is one of your favorite games of all time, or maybe like a top 3?
Favorite game all time or a top 3? Oof, that's a rough one, man. The game that I've probably spent the most time playing would probably be Dark Souls 3. Okay. I have put so many hours into Dark Souls 3, I can damn near play that game blindfolded now. That
just by sound.
Yep.
Okay,
just by
3
sound.
steps forward. Now 2 steps to the left. Swing. Okay.
That's right. That's right, man.
That'd make for an interesting stream.
So
yeah.
And I was actually going to ask, of all the Demon Souls games and all those, which one is your favorite? Obviously, the answer then is 3.
No, honestly, you'd be wrong. Honestly,
Okay.
I think it would either be Bloodborne or Sekiro would be probably my favorite of the series because they're a little bit faster. They reward aggressive behavior a little more. I've just played more hours into Dark Souls 3 than any of the other ones because I was streaming trying to get a deathless run of it for months and months and months, and just
Those
every
games
day,
are
all day, Dark
punishing,
Souls
Ben.
3.
I don't know how much of them you've seen, Ben, but those games are punishing. I have
I've just heard about their difficulty. That's about it.
What's the one that was exclusive to PS4?
That was Bloodborne.
I have that one because it was part of, the PlayStation Plus, and I've played it a little bit, and it humbles you. It humbles you. You think you know how to operate one of these controllers right here, right? But you do not. Your timing is not nearly as good as you think it is.
That's right.
This game will humble you. They all do. You have to be a certain type of person to enjoy them. I like to call them sadomasochists. No, I'm just playing. He raises his hand. Those that are listening, the guest raised his hand for the record. Nice. So let's go the opposite direction. What is a game that disappointed the living daylights out? Like the worst game you ever played? Maybe it hyped you up and really disappointed you, or maybe it was just like you picked it up and I was just total shit.
Oh man. I mean, honestly, if we want to talk about games that have just disappointed me, I would have to say Rogue Company. Just
We
from
got plenty of
recently.
time. Tell us about it.
All right. Well, I mean, I started playing Rogue Company with the closed beta
Okay.
when that first dropped, and man, it was fun. It was full of potential. The community was good. It was competitive. It was everything about it was good.
Right.
And so, I kind of like rode the wave of that game as it grew towards a full release and whatnot. But
And this was about a year ago, right?
um, yeah, getting on towards a
'Cause-
year. I think I picked the game up in early July of
Because
last
before
year.
he got himself banned from Twitch for whatever reason, I did watch Dr. Disrespect play it a little bit. So I'm familiar with the game, and it had that little uptick in popularity. Please go on.
Right, right. And I basically rode that uptick. I was doing very well on Twitch through Rogue Company and
Get
gained
on
a lot
that
of
wave.
views. And yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. But then I don't know, the devs got super duper ultra focused on the competitive side of it, which, nothing wrong with that. It's a competitive tactical shooter,
Mhm.
but they did it to the extent of kind of excluding the casual player or the solo queue player or anything like that. You know how they can, focus too hard on competitive and alienate, the
Yep.
meat of your
Yep.
fan base.
Yep.
And yeah, and it just, it was heading in that direction real bad. The community was getting real toxic. Yeah, and like all free to play games do. That was when it really went bad, I think, is when it went free to play.
Yeah.
And so for me, that's probably the biggest disappointment I've had in gaming because, I was tying my name to that game.
When
Right.
did it go free? Or well, when did you bow out? When did you get out?
I tried to come back to it when season 1 officially started a couple months ago, maybe even 3 months ago. I'm not exactly sure, but season 1 came out, and so I tried to come back to it, and I was like, okay, well, it's finally the full release and everything, and I played it for 2 days, and it felt like work. I felt like I was doing it because my viewers wanted me to do it, and I just wasn't having any fun. So yeah, that's when I just quit it for good.
Okay.
Gotcha.
Okay.
So are there currently any games you're looking forward to?
I'm really looking forward to dipping back into horror because I like to do horror games. I used to do like reaction horror games, but I don't react as well as I used to because I've played too many horror games.
You're sitting there.
Yep. But I'm really looking forward to the Callisto Protocol. It's like a spiritual successor to Dead Space.
Huh. Okay.
Really?
Yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah.
I was just going to mention that we had a guest just recently who was our Dead Space stan. Like he was here to talk about Dead Space. That boy, he wanted to talk
Oh,
about Dead
yeah.
Space. We spent a good portion of his episode talking Dead Space. So
Oh,
tell us
yeah.
more about what's this Callisto Protocol, you said?
Well, there's a trailer for it. I think it's made by a lot of the original Dead Space development team.
Okay.
Like
Huh.
you could just watch the trailer and tell it was very Dead Space inspired because the guy gets up and he's got, what amounts to a rig on the back of his spine, like just full Dead Space style,
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
and yeah, it's just, I mean, it's basically just Dead Space for the new generation of gaming, and I'm for it.
Okay. Okay.
Definitely something I might check out then.
Yep,
Sure.
it looks pretty cool. Looks pretty darn cool.
So you're also, I would assume, are you into horror movies?
I mean, I enjoy horror movies. I don't get enough time to watch movies as I wish I did.
Okay.
I'm always either like gaming or editing video, or lately I've just been, setting up the house and moving and all that. But yeah, I don't get as much time to watch movies as I'd like, but
Okay.
I do enjoy a good horror flick when I get time.
Okay. This was going to segue back to a gaming thing. You mentioned horror games, and then so I threw horror movies. Have you ever played Dead by Daylight?
I've tried Dead by Daylight. I'm not a fan of the the 1v4 PvP games.
Not your
I've
thing?
tried a number of them. Yeah, they're just not for me. I don't mind watching somebody play it, but just the whole mechanic of the game, I don't know, I get bored.
Did you ever play Evolve?
I did.
Oh, let's talk about Evolve.
Well,
Let's
I only
talk
played
about
it a little. So I don't
I
know a
know,
ton
but like
about
nobody
it.
played it. I can't talk about
Yeah.
Evolve with anybody.
Well, it was
I never
kind of a
thought this would
flash
be
in the
something we
pan,
could bring
man.
up on the fucking show. So let's talk Evolve for a minute.
Let's talk Evolve for
So
a
what
minute.
did you? I gotta be honest. I loved playing as a monster in Evolved. I didn't so much like playing as Hunter, unless
Right,
you had a team of people that actually weren't a bunch of blithering idiots. But
right.
playing as a monster was the shit, man. Bouncing around in that big dude that was like more or less kind of like King Kong was the best. What did you like about it?
I mean, I was very similar. I liked playing the monster, but yeah, playing on an actual squad of hunters it just wasn't fun. It was the difficulty spike was just huge if you weren't like, a practice team in comms together and whatnot, Playing
Right.
as a monster was good, happy fun, but yeah, other than that,
Did you,
I don't know.
Ben? Did you ever get a chance to play Evolve? I don't think we knew each other at that
I
point.
didn't even know what it was until I just Googled it now. But
It
I
was
get
fun.
the idea of games that don't like you just can't play them very well unless you've got a good squad with you.
Right, right. And
Especially,
it actually had a lot of promise because it was from the same dev team that did Left 4 Dead
Mhm.
and whatnot, but it just didn't pan out, man.
What about Friday the 13th? Did you play that one ever?
No, I saw some people playing that. It looked so buggy
It
and
was very
difficult to
buggy. It was
play.
kind of a fun concept, but it was very buggy. I would agree with you on that.
Right.
And it's a shame what happened to it. I'm not sure if you're familiar, and we won't spend a shitload of time on it. You can look it up on Google. But there's a dispute between the original creator of Jason
Okay.
and the movie studios over who owns the rights and therefore who can license the rights to character and the Friday the 13th story. And they got ensnared in that after having already made the game and put out a roadmap and said, we're going to do all this stuff. And they basically had to just kind of one day come out and say, guys, we can't do anymore. We're going to do one more update. And this is it. Like, we're fucked. It's the legal thing. So
Right.
I don't know if that's ever been solved. But it was cool for a minute. Were you aware of the Predator game that was made by the same studio, though?
I was, and I had high hopes for that as well. But then, yeah, I saw some, gameplay of it or whatnot, and I don't know, it just didn't impress.
You didn't get it. I didn't get a chance to play it, but man, I was the same as you. I was like, man, this might be cool.
Yeah, and then it just wasn't. It was just the same old shit, man.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, for sure. Definitely.
Did you ever get an opportunity to play through the Fear games?
Oh, Fear was excellent. I loved the Fear games. I actually was thinking about going back to those again.
I don't know anything about those. Tell me about those.
Oh man, it's just they're just they're just such a mashup of like goofy.
What's the general plot?
Okay, you're an army shooter guy, and you go in, and for some reason you got psychic powers where you can slow down time.
But well, everybody does. I mean,
but there's like this evil ghost girl from the Ring, and she's chasing after you for like no good goddamn reason amidst all of your shootings. and
I love how no good goddamn reason.
Yeah, and that's Fear, man. That's the game. You just roll with it. You get some jump scares. No one really understands the story, but you get to slow things down.
There's more story to it than that.
Yeah, I know. There actually is a lot of story to it.
I mean, it's so old that I'll explain a little bit more. But basically, you find out playing that this girl that's haunting you is actually your psychic mother, or whatever, that's being held in this ward, and she has special abilities, and that's why everyone's dying and things like that. And there's just a whole bunch of weird shit that goes on too.
Okay. And how many games were there in the series?
There were 3. There was an expansion too, but I mean, there were 2 expansions actually.
What was the best of the 3?
Both the first one, probably.
Yeah, the first one, as far as like just the experience of the game, the first one for sure. I liked the controls on the third one.
Like, but that for me, I'd say the first one was the most fun overall as a general title in the game. The second one was fun to play, but had a lot of weird, messed up stuff in it. And then the third one was just a fun shooter, like at that point,
Yeah, the third one felt more like a big studio project, whereas it didn't have as much like as much like soul of the original game that they were trying to put out, but it controlled well. It played solidly.
Yeah,
You know
the
what I
mechanics
mean?
worked. It was good. It was fun, but
Sound like it kind of suffered from the curse that we talk about frequently on the show, which is the third in the trilogy is always the disappointing one. Like it just, and a lot of folks seem to feel like it's because in the first movie there's the newness
Mystery.
of whatever it is that they're dealing with, and they the inexperience of the main characters, and not everybody's all geared up, and they're level 1, and they're still leveling up, and then in the second movie they're kind of in the mid levels, and they're not. They're still a little vulnerable, and they're still kind of get their footing under them. But by the third and fourth movie, they're all set. They're geared up. They're level 60. They've got their epic weaponry and stuff, and they're ready to go to war.
Right.
And I think people miss the struggle. I personally like that part at the very end where they're all powered up and ready to whoop some ass. That's my bread and butter.
Oh yeah.
That's what I love. That's what I love. So what's your streaming schedule these days? I know you just moved to a new house. Congratulations.
Oh, thank you. Thank you. My streaming schedule, I'm actually just getting ready to get started again. Probably sometime this next week. I'm thinking around Wednesday or something. But normally I would be streaming Monday through Friday at 10 a.m. Pacific every morning. I go live, and then but now that we've gotten moved to the new place and I actually have this removed building to stream out of, I'm going to start, dabbling in evening streams and weekend streams a little bit more, and, see where that takes me and see where the viewership is. But for the most part, you can catch me mornings on Twitch, man.
Is streaming your full-time gig?
Yeah. I mean, I don't like make full-time money at it or anything, but
Sure.
I'm fortunate enough to be in a situation where I'm like, a stay-at-home type of fella. So
Sure.
yeah,
Right.
stream all day.
Nothing wrong with that, man. That's very cool.
Yep.
I'm
That's cool.
very jealous of that. I would love to do streaming and nothing else. Unfortunately, I got to pay my bills still, and I can't afford to that's a long story. I wish I was independently wealthy. That'd be nice. I think we all wish we were independently wealthy.
Right?
Let's win the lotto.
Let's
Where
do
can
it.
people find you? Like what different social media and stuff?
You can mostly find me on Twitter. That's where I'm the most active. I mean, I have TikTok and Instagram as well. Bird Brain across all. Bird Brainiac on Twitter. 2 R's in the bird. But yeah, the Twitter's the place you can really find me. That's the thing I check every day. You might not see me on Instagram for 2 weeks.
I've heard about a lot of streamers using TikTok for marketing, like posting a lot of clips and taking clips and converting them to like a vertical format. Are you dabbling in that at all? And if so,
yeah, I've done a little. My org actually runs a TikTok that, they feature all of us from within the org on their clip page and whatnot. And they do a lot more of that. I have dabbled a little bit, with the editing software and whatnot. But no, the org TikTok, the Osiris Gaming TikTok, there's tons of good content on there. They do the funny videos, they do the clip videos, they got all kinds of stuff on there.
Well, cool. And hopefully folks, if they're interested, they can go check out Osiris Gaming and see what that's all about. And maybe if there's some streamers out there looking for a group to join and to get involved in that, they can check you out. We're going to have links to we'll put links to your stuff. Well, if you want to throw me some links in DM to Osiris Gaming, we can throw those in there for you. We'll get all that stuff in the descriptions for the pod when this hits. By the time this hits, I imagine you'll be back to full-time streaming.
Excellent.
So very cool, man. Well, we are coming close to the end of our time for today. It's been really great meeting you.
Oh, yeah.
I know we've chatted on social media before, but that's about the extent of it. Because when you stream during the day, I'm stuck at my day job and they don't let me leave my desk. They chain me to it. Like, you can't go anywhere. Stay there, Steve. You must work harder. So with that said, thanks so much for being a part of the show, Richard. We do have plans to do follow-ups in the future, like maybe later this year. So we'll hit you up for one of those.
Absolutely.
I'm sure we didn't cover all the topics of all the things that you played as the years have gone by, being an old guy like me. We didn't even cover arcades. You've been to arcades, right?
Oh man, yeah,
Yeah.
I won't even get into arcades. I spent a
When you
lot of
come
my
back,
youth in
that's
arcades.
your comeback episode. Mark it
There you
down.
go.
When you do your revisit episode, we're going to talk about arcades.
I like it, man.
All right, brother. Well,
go.
thanks for being part of the show. Ben is here with me as always. For him and myself, thank you, Richard. Thanks to everybody for being part of this show, and we'll catch you next time on How It Started. Thank you for joining us for this episode of How It Started. If you enjoyed the show, please be sure to like, subscribe, and follow us. You can find links to our podcast episodes, social media, and more by going to howitstartedpod.com or by searching for How It Started, How Gamers Became Gamers on YouTube or your favorite podcast platform. We release new episodes every Friday. You can find Ben on Twitch at twitch.tv/ZivionV3 and on Instagram at Zivion. You can find Steve on Twitch at twitch.tv/SecretLayerArcade or SecretLayerArcade.com and on Instagram at SecretLayerArcade. Until next time, I'm Steve Arcade. For myself and my co-host Ben, thanks for joining us, and be sure to live your best one up.